Hectic kisses on my doodles. Hey guys. Okay, it is story time. I think I want to do story. Okay, I think I want to do a story time once in a while on my channel, and I'm going to do a story time. And the story I'm going to tell is about labor, about going into labor with my boys and my oldest son, my youngest son. Which one gave me more problems going into labor and who didn't? So, thought I had a picture of my other son in here, but I guess I don't. But anyway, my oldest son, he's 27 years old. His name is Jeffrey. Jeffrey Wayne Dawson. I did not know that my ex-husband and my husband's now middle name was Wayne, because his middle name is Wayne, but my brother's middle name is Wayne. So basically, I was trying to figure out what to name my oldest son. And when I found out I was pregnant with my oldest son, I remember it till the day. It was Mother's Day. I told my mom on Mother's Day. He was born in 93. He's 27 years old. But on Mother's Day, I said, Mom, I need to tell you something. And I don't think you're going to like it, but you might. So I gave it to my mom, and I said, we need to go in the hall closet and talk. She goes, why? I said, because I don't want Granny to hear it, don't want Dad to hear it, and I surely don't want Randy and Brian to hear it. So let's go in the closet. Went in the closet, and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I handed her the pea stick, and I said, Happy Mother's Day, I'm pregnant. She goes, what? She goes, first thing Monday morning, we are going to the doctor's, and we are going to find out if you're pregnant or not. So I went down to the clinic, and I showed I was pregnant. So I set up an appointment to get checked out and everything. And everything was good. Both my boys were born by two different doctors. So Dr. Brian Thompson was one of my child's doctor, and I forget who the other one was. Dr. something. Yundon? No, not Yundon. That was my mother-in-law's doctor. Okay. But anyway, so I went in there. Everything was cool. I had my son. I was so excited to find out I was pregnant. One of the days I had to, they considered me as a high-risk patient because I was born with a hole in my heart. And I had my oldest son in Galveston, Texas. He was born in Galveston, Texas at John C. Lee Hospital. And we went down there so I could get registered at the hospital and do everything I had to do in Galveston. And they had a bus that drove us from here to Galveston. We rode on the bus. And when we got to Galveston, my mom was with me that day. And she said, well, you got to go to Galveston. So on the way back, she goes, we'll get something to eat at the hospital while we wait. Okay, not a problem. But on the way home, my mom said, we'll stop at McDonald's because McDonald's is right next door to the doctor's. And we got something to eat. And I looked at my mom and I said, you think Dad's going to love it? And he said that he's having a grandson. She goes, yeah, he was happy when he found out I was pregnant with your brother Randy. And he was so excited. Oh, I'm having a son, but he was more excited when you. And I was excited. I was having a son. I really didn't care what I had the first time, boy or girl. My mom and dad's friend, Mona Ballard, and her husband kept telling my parents, she's going to treat it like a Barbie doll. She's going to play with it for 5 or 10 minutes and leave it there. She's not going to be a good enough mother to the baby. Let me tell you something. Wherever I went, my boys went with me. My son, no matter where I went, my son went with me. Okay. My son Jeffrey and my son Joshua. But when I had Jeffrey first, I'm sorry, it's kind of hot. He was with me. We got everything we needed done. I was so excited to have it done. I was so excited, so happy to have this boy. Well, on the way home, we stopped at McDonald's to get something to eat, and then we got in the car. And I said, Mom, can we bring Dad a burger back? You know, I wanted to get my dad something to eat back. And I wanted to surprise my dad with the burger. And I wanted to squirt on top of the burger. It's a boy for my dad. And I did that, of course. And as soon as we got home, my brother came out and said, Mom, we got to go. We got to go. Dad's in the hospital. We had to call 911. Dad had a heart attack. I said, oh my God, Mom. And I started crying. And I said, Dad's not going to be here to see his grandson. I thought the worst. So we get to Benton Hospital where they took my dad. My dad made it and got in there. And the burger I was going to give to my dad, I let my oldest brother eat it. I said, Randy, you eat it. He said, I'm having a nephew. It's a boy. He was like, oh my God, I'm having a nephew. My first, sibling from my sister. I'm having a nephew. My brothers, both of my brothers, when I had my oldest son, Jeffrey, he was born with a disability, but I did not know until he got a little bit older. He was born with cerebral palsy, and he was also had the Coach disease, which 1 in a million children ever get the Coach disease, and that's in your eye. So this eye is good. This eye on him, one of his eyes, he has a glass eye, and he had to have that eyeball removed and have a glass eye. And he has cerebral palsy, and he was going to Shriners. Now he's too old for Shriners, so he has to depend on himself. But he's good because he lives in Arizona by himself. He moved out. Everything was good for him. I love my son. Don't get me wrong. I love my son. And if there's any children out there, you guys who have a child with a disability, let them know you love them so much, no matter what, even if it's not your child. And if you see a little kid with Down syndrome or a little kid struggling, help. Be good. I think it would be great to do that. Now, as growing up, I will admit, I did make fun of some people that had a disability. I really wasn't like, laughing at them, making goofy faces and teasing them, oh, retard. I wasn't doing that. No. But it's like, oh my God, to think to have a kid act like that? No. And unfortunately, I was brought up when you make fun of somebody with special needs, you will have a special need child. And that is what I was taught growing up. And then I realized that is not it. Just because you make fun of handicapped kids doesn't always mean you're going to have a handicapped child. My son, 1 in a million children ever get what my child had. I love my son dearly with all my heart. But I'm back to the story about my dad in the hospital. I went in there and they said just a little at a time. I went in there and I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, I bought you a burger. It had something written on it, but since you can't have it, I gave it to Randy. He said, you gave my burger away? I said, yes, sir. And the doctor looked at him and said, Mr. Dawson, you can't have that. I know. But I said, Dad, I did make something for you. The lady gave me a piece of paper. And I made something for you. And he said, what'd you make me? I said, I'm going to keep it right here until you are able to come home, until we can bring you home. The doctor said in a couple days, 2 or 3 days, you can bring him home. We're going to keep it for observation. I looked at my dad. He looked at me and said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "No, Dad, it's a boy. You're going to have a grandson." My brothers, my mom, well, my parents and my brothers, but mostly my parents asked me, "Why do you want a baby?" And I know a lot of teenagers come up and say, "I want a baby to love me and I can love back because my parents don't love me." Well, that's bullcrap. Your parents love you no matter what. Whether you sit here, I mean, both of my boys sit here and say, "Dad don't love me. Dad don't give a damn about me." You know, that's what they say about their father. Because we got divorced, and our agreement in our divorce is he gets them for the summer, I get them for the school year. I had them summer and school year. I think if my husband would have stepped up, my ex-husband, and been a man, my child, my second son, would have been better than the way he is now. He wouldn't have got into drugs, and he wouldn't have got into so much trouble. There's a lot about him you don't know as well, but I'll get into that. But with my oldest son, you know, he's a video gamer. He plays video games. So, you know, he's cool. I remember, funny, I was at Walmart in Galveston. Funniest thing happened. There's this lady and this man down the same aisle I was down. And the weekend before, my grandmother and my mother came up to see me. And they gave me some money. I was getting what you call AFDC. That's government money to help me out. But my mom and my grandmother gave me $50. And they said to use this money. Grandmother stayed at in the domicile where I was staying. Like a hotel, but it wasn't a hotel, but it was a domicile. And because they, like I said, they consider me a high-risk patient. I went over there with my mom, got some groceries, come back. She bought me some TV dinners, a jar of pickles. Oh my God. I was into vanilla ice cream and pickles when I was pregnant with my oldest son, both of my boys. I remember coming in and telling my mother, "Mom, can you make me a pickle and grilled cheese sandwich, please, with onions?" And I would eat that all the time. You ask my boys if they want a pickle, they'll tell you to shove it up your nose. They hate pickles. Yes. I remember, like I was saying, I was at Walmart. And I was buying an outfit to bring my son home in. And I know the hospital usually gives you a blanket to carry your baby in, but it's December. He was born December 16th, 1993. It's going to be cold. He needs a good blankie, not a little blankie, a good blankie. So I was buying him a blanket and something, you know, to bring him home in and everything. And I needed a car seat, so I was getting a car seat. Everything I needed to get. And I found this ornament that says Baby's First Christmas. I had to get it as well. Broke the ornament, though. The guy looked at me and said, "Honey, I think she peed her pants." And I bent over and held my stomach. And he said, "No, baby, she's going into labor." So I went into labor at Walmart. I didn't have my son at Walmart. You ever seen the movie America? I think the little girl's name was America, and the lady had the baby. She was a Walmart baby. No, I didn't have my baby in Walmart. I was there with Felix and some other people. We were all buying stuff, and they looked at me and said, "Felix, he's the guy that brought us here." So they got Felix, and I think it was Christine. Her name was Christy or Christine or something like that. And they got the lady, anyway, the person that was driving, I don't remember Felix or Christine, the girl. They got her and they said she's in labor, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to call 911. So they got me in the bus. They got everybody together and said they'd be back to pick them up. I think it was somebody else, the girl, because I remember they called Felix. Felix said she's in labor. should we call 911? And Felix said, no, I'll be right there. So he came. They took me in the bus, in the little van they had, took me home, or not home, but to the hospital, and I was in labor, and I sat there, and that weekend, my mom, that weekend I went, and my mom and my grandmother came up, and they got to see me and whatnot, and my grandmother said my son's eyes was black as the ace of spades, and okay, no offense to you black people, but my grandmother was prejudiced, and she thought, and she said the N-word, she goes, Penny, his eyes are black as the ace of spades. Did she have sex with the, and she said the N-word, I'm not going to say it, and my mother said, no, her boyfriend was white and goofy. What he was. He was a drug addict. But anyway, another story about my oldest son. When I was there at the domicile, they had movie night. So, they were showing Hand the Rock the Cradle. And they had chocolate cake. My oldest son, when I would eat chocolate, I would throw up and get diarrhea all the time. So I sat there one day and they made popcorn and I was like, he said, what's up? I said, I need some pickle juice. So I was eating popcorn and drinking pickle juice with lemonade. Gross, right? When you're pregnant, you crave all kinds of different things. So it was pretty cool. And my son was born 10/16/74. 10/16/74 is my birthday. He was born December the 16th of 93. Now for my second son. Okay. My second son is 23. He's born in March. And, oh my God, he's a good boy, but he got into some drugs. He was smoking Kush. But for his story, now my oldest son, when I was talking about the middle name Wayne, he was born after my dad's favorite actor, John Wayne, my brother, and not knowing that both of my ex and my husbands now, my name was like, okay. But I really wanted to name him Jordan Nathaniel. And everybody, and I did not know that was Jordan Knight's name from New Kids on the Block. I didn't know his middle name was Nathaniel. I just knew Jordan. And I wanted to name him that, but no. My second son, I wanted to name him Dustin. And of course, my grandma says, Dustin, no. But anyway, I named him Joshua Michael after his father, Michael. His father's name is Michael, and I named him after Joshua Michael. And his last name is Chapman. So for those who know Michael Wayne Chapman, now you know what I think about it when I make this face. Anyway, when I found out I was pregnant, I made a wish upon a star. I saw a shooting star, and I made a wish that I was pregnant. And I wished for something else, but the other wish didn't come true. It did come true when I got pregnant. And they told me, the doctor told me my son was a girl. I spent $500 on little girl clothes. Come to find out, it was his butt cheeks in the way. Did another ultrasound. Sorry, Miss Chapman. At the time I was Miss Chapman. You're having a boy, not a girl. It seemed that his butt cheeks were in the way. There's this little tally-tacky. So I had another boy. Okay. Well, I was like, one boy, one girl. Case closed. Zip it up. Screw it. Tight shut. And I'm never having sex again. But I had a little boy. And I named him Joshua Michael. When I got pregnant, my husband was, ex-husband was very, very ecstatic about me having another baby. I think he was, oh, I'm sorry, Chica. My little dog's down here and I stepped on her paw. I think he was more impressed with my youngest son than my oldest son because every time my youngest son did something wrong, my oldest son got blamed for it, and that was BS. Total BS. For my boys, I remember my son Jeffrey was sick, and we went to, was it Bayshore? Not Bayshore. Southmore. It was Southmore Hospital when Southmore Hospital and Pasadena was together. That's where I was born. My ex-husband and I was both born at the same hospital, Southmore Hospital. Dr. Mathis delivered us both. And I was ecstatic to find out he was born by the same doctor I was. Wow. And my son, Joshua, was born at Southmore Hospital as well, but not with the same doctor. But anyway, so he's born in Pasadena, Texas. My oldest son was sick, and he was coughing, sniffling. Something was wrong, and I knew something was up. Well, my mom and my grandmother went to Beaumont. That's where my grandmother was born, in Vidor, Texas, which is where, quote, quote, racism, Ku Klux Klan. Yes, my uncle was in the Ku Klux Klan, and he was the head of Ku Klux Klan, but that don't mean I'm in it, and I'm not prejudiced. I love everybody. Trust me, I do. But anyway, for my son, we were at the hospital, and I told my ex-husband, I said, I don't feel right. Something ain't right. Something's wrong. I kept feeling like something was wrong. I said, I think I'm going to go into labor. And he says, okay, I'm going to take Jeffrey home to your dad. So we were living with my mom and dad at the time. And he took my son home to my mom and dad's house. And my dad told my mom, you're going to go. And she's going to go in labor and have this baby while y'all are in Beaumont. Guarantee me. Sure enough, I did. My mom and grandmother didn't listen. So my dad stayed there with Jeffrey and watched him. And so did my brothers. And he said, where's Christina? She's in labor. So I was at the hospital. I was in the emergency room and went in there. I said, they looked at me and said, you were just here. I said, yeah, my husband took my son home. He's sick. I said, something ain't right. I think I'm going into labor. And I stood there and all over the floor. And I got sick. And they said, well, they checked me out and said, oh my God, yeah, your water hadn't broke, but you dilated. I was dilated to 8 centimeters. And so as soon as we got into the elevator, my water broke. I said, honey, my water broke. That was wet. When we got upstairs, he said, my wife's water just broke, and the elevator's full of water. You might want to clean it up. All right, so they got somebody in there, I guess, to clean it up. I don't know. I'm sure they did. So I get up there, and they said, well, you're dilated still to 8 centimeters, and your water didn't break. I said, there's a whole bunch of water, and that's not pee, that's liquid. All right, well, lay down, let's check you out. And about 30, 45 minutes later, I was laying in bed, and I felt this heavy push contraction. And then all of a sudden, I said, honey, my water just broke. For real this time. And what it was is part of my amnio sac busted, but not all of it. And then the rest of it wasn't a big gush like the first one. It was just a small gush. Like I said, I told y'all, I felt like something was wrong. Then I had my son. And both of my boys were 5 pounds, 12 ounces, 19 inches long. But if you look at them now, my oldest son is 5'7", and my youngest son is 6'2". Now go to the figure. And I'm only 4'11". My ex-husband is 5'9". Go figure. My dad was 5'7". My oldest brother is 5'9", and my youngest brother I think he's 5'7". Oh my God. It's hard to believe it. But I had 2 boys, and I was very happy with both of my boys. Having kids is good. It's not bad, but with both of my boys, I did eat a lot of pickles and ice cream and onions. Both of my boys hate onions. They hate pickles. I remember one day we were living in, not in this house, but in a trailer where we used to live. And I remember telling my kids, all 3 of the kids, including my stepdaughter, I said, I'll tell you what, I've got $20 right here. I'll take you to the store and buy you whatever you want at the store. I'll get you a soda and a candy bar or a bag of chips at the gas station. But y'all have to do something. And they're like, what's that? You got to eat a whole jalapeno. And my stepdaughter, I think at the time, was 9 years old. And my 2 boys was in high school. I think my youngest one was a freshman in high school. Or he might have been in 8th grade. He might have been an 8th grader. But anyway. And you got to drink this cup of pickle juice. And on top of that, and they's like, no, I don't want to do that. I said, pretend it's Fear Factor. Remember, we watched Fear Factor. So my oldest son said, Mom, I don't need a Dr. Pepper that bad. My stepdaughter said, all right, challenge on. And my second son said, challenge on. They shook my hand, hugged me. My stepdaughter took 1 bite of the jalapeno pepper, put it down, drank pickle juice, put it down. I can't do this. That's too hot. She was so hot that she literally, I was drinking water out of the sink like that. My son, he ate the whole, I cut the jalapeno in half. I didn't give him a whole one. He ate his half. And I said, the jalapeno's not hot as the seeds. But he ate his half. And he drank the pickle juice. He won the challenge and whatnot. And I said, y'all 2 stay here. We're going to run to the store. I'll be back. I took my son to the store. We got some stuff. Come back. Everything was good. So, that is basically, this video's getting longer. Story time on having my boys. With my oldest son, they had put a needle in my neck to keep track of my heart because I was born with a hole in my heart. I lost 10% of one kidney and 60% of the other kidney, and the doctor told my mom my heart would go back. That was a lie. I'm not for sure about my kidneys. I really haven't had anything checked. I do need to go to a doctor and have everything that I can checked out to see what's good and what's not. With my second son, they drugged me up pretty bad. And the doctor had to help push my son out. Funny story about both of my boys. When they came out of my woohoo. Well, my oldest one decided the doctor needed to taste pee-pee. So when he came out, he peed all over the doctor's face and in the doctor's mouth. And the doctor said, towel, 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 towel. And he went over, there was a sink in there because they wash their hands. He went over to the sink, he got a cup, gargled the water, spit it out. And it was bad. And he needed to clean his mouth out because his mouth, I'm sure, tastes like TT. My second son, he came out, kicked the doctor in the nose, broke the doctor's nose when he came out of my woo-ha. So, as for that, funny thing about that one, when he came out, kicked the doctor, broke the doctor's nose, the doctor said, nurse, nurse. They left my son in the incubator for a minute and was dealing with the doctor's nose. So, on that case, that's about my two boys and some other little stories in there. If you like story time and you want me to start telling a story about myself, my life, let me know in the description box down below. I'll tell you a little story. I kind of really want to do this once in a while, tell a story about me and my family, or about somebody in my family. I know I was doing it before, but I'm going to actually want to start keeping it going and doing it. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a blessed, wonderful day. New to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Give me a 30-day free trial. I do want to spruce up my videos a little bit and change how I start embracing my videos from beginning to end. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, guys, I love y'all and hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye, guys.